while I was touring, I did not have a proper tour guide. Next time I'll go with you. I was really impressed by, I think they are called Husaria. I was really impressed by that era. Everything that's collected there, even what they were wearing, it's amazing. I had no idea that Poland had warriors that looked like this. I also heard, I don't know if this is true, that they never lost a battle, something like this. Tell me a little bit about them.
Well, do not be confused with the Hussars, which is actually 18th century troops. Husaria is in English rather called as a winged cavalry, so cavalry with the wings. That was kind of like a tanks of 16th century. That was a heavy cavalry. Basically, Poland was kind of like a melting pot between the West and East, with both influences. But in the West, actually, cavalry was used for recognition. Basically, very light cavalry, very fast. In Poland, well, the distance and also the country was huge, so the heavy cavalry was very much common. They were not very well armed. Actually, I mean, the armor wasn't extremely thick, but what was crucial, they had the spear, actually, kind of pike, wooden, one use actually, because well, in medieval ages, they eventually trained those piccaninniers, right? So the peasant with the piece of wood actually and spear can stop the actual noble on the horse. It's just a matter of training the unit actually using the pike properly, actually, right? Those pikes were usually like 4 meters, etc. Actually, right? So basically, if you target it properly, if you keep it properly, you basically put down the rider before he reach you, actually, right?
Interesting.
So that was also one of the reasons why cavalry was not very went out of fashion in Western Europe. But then Polish winged cavalry, they have their own. I mean, we called it drzewiec. So basically in Polish, a piece of wood, pretty much. That is actually hollow inside, made of wood, a little bit sharp at the front, which was 5 meters long. So basically, what the cavalryman was doing, he was reaching the piccaninny before the piccaninny reached him, because the wood was 1 meter longer. And you really need a very proper tree to make like 5 meters long. This one actually was one use, actually, right? So you do the charge, you actually use it, it breaks usually, and then you turn back, you take another one, you charge again. But actually, the legendary record says that one of the Polish winged cavalrymen, he could skew 5 infantrymen on one
One go.
one wood 5 meters long.
Five.
So basically, usually they break the first line with the charge, and the rest actually escape. So one of the biggest glorious victory of Polish winged cavalry was Kirchholm, Battle of Kirchholm, 1610. Today, Kirchholm is Latvia.
Okay.
3,000 Polish, 12,000 Swedish.
Whoa.
So basically, this is how effective it was. So, but the way how it looks in Polish pop culture with those wings, etc.
Yes.
The urban legend says that the wing is supposed to make a sound that will scare away the people.
I heard this.
The wings were rather actually parade decoration. Actually, very very impractical in battle. To be honest, so they were like the Sunday best outfit for the parades to show off, actually. But in the battle, were extremely not
Not really practical.
not practical. Exactly.
And when did they end, or what happened? How was the end of this?
Beat up Swedish so badly, and they took a lesson. And because actually also the infantry units, the gunpowder units were very, it took several minutes to shot for the riflemen, because there was like one line only, right? So usually when the units were like this, so half of them were piccaninny, half of them were actually were the gunmen. So the Polish cavalry have longer spears than piccaninnies, and okay, the gunmen can actually usually shoot once before the cavalry hit them. But what the cavalry did was a very tricky thing, because Polish horses were also very well trained. They were attacking with loose formation, so there was a gap between, and those units were very those actually the weapon was very out of fashion. It was very primitive, actually, right? So it wasn't really very well targeting. So the damages in the cavalry charging in loose formation is very small, even all of the line shoot. And then 100 meters, just 100 meters before they hit, they were tightening the formation.
Okay.
So you see how how well trained horses you need, that are not scared of noise, and under the battlefield, chaos, they're gonna all of a sudden uh, do the tide formation, and there will be like a rolling wall of destroying everything which is actually on the way.
Okay.
But the Swedish took a lesson, and the Swedish actually started to change the strategy. They started to introduce three lines of the infantry. So one of them was standing, one of them was kneeling, and one of them was actually lying. Actually, so then we have like triple more bullets.
Okay.
So there's a triple line, which each of them can shoot actually, right? And that make Polish cavalry not effective any longer, and that make actually Swedish army the best army in Europe at that time, the end of 17th century. Swedes at some point, and they actually captured Denmark, captured half of Germany, and were actually beating up badly Russia as well. This is how
Oh.
they took a lesson from the battles with the Polish and dominate Europe pretty much the second half of 17th century,
Oh.
at least Central Northern Europe.
Oh, okay.
This is the dawn of Polish craft, but actually it's very popular in Polish tradition, Polish literature. I would say usually most of the Polish people don't know much about history of Husaria, but they have read books of Sienkiewicz. Henryk Sienkiewicz, he did this trilogy about all those battles, because 17th century is basically century of wars in Poland.
Mhm.
Most of the Polish people don't really know much about them from the actual history classes, but from 19th century literature.
So what's the name of the trilogy?
Mr. Wołodyjowski, The Luge, so Flood, and With the Fire and Sword.
Okay.
There are 19th century books, or the early 20th century, and they were turned to the cinema movies as well. Very popular. Ogień Mieczu with the Fire and Sword is the most popular movie ever been produced in Poland after 1989. That's the third episode of this trilogy. Mr. Hoffman, he did that, I think, 1990s.
1990s.
So he did the movie based on that book.
Okay. I'm gonna link all of this. I'd be interested, and I'm sure people will be interested about this.